I'll turn this on. I will now call the Clackamas Community College Board of Education regular meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, around 6 p.m. So, Katie, can you please call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Position number 7, representing Canby and Malala, Irene Konev. Here. Position number 4, representing Oregon City, Joe Crenshaw.
Here.
Position number 3, representing Gladstone and Johnson City, Wade Hathorn.
Wade is absent today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Position number 2, representing Clackamas and Happy Valley, Rob Wheeler.
Here.
I see Kathy is just being admitted. So we'll give her just a few minutes to connect here before we ask for her. Thank you for your patience. For position number 1, we're doing the roll call, Kathy, just so we have you. For position number 1, representing Milwaukee, Kathy Heisey.
Here.
Thank you. And position number 6, representing Estacada and Colton, Chair Jane Reed.
Here. Okay, well, our next order of business is the oath of office for our newly appointed board director, Ryan Ingersoll. So Ryan, if you could please come forward, and Katie, if you could conduct the oath of office.
All right, Ryan, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ryan Ingersoll,
I, Ryan Ingersoll,
do hereby affirm
do hereby affirm
that I will support the laws and constitutions
that I will support the laws and the constitutions
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as a member of the Board of Directors
as a member of the Board of Directors
of the Clackamas Community College representing Zone 5
of Clackamas Community College representing Zone 5
to the best of my ability throughout my term.
to the best of my ability throughout my term.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ryan.
And if we could have Ryan's family come forward, and we'd like to get a photo. And then after that, we'll have a photo with the board members.
We're gonna go, but they're coming. Yeah. Yeah. And Ryan, can you introduce those lovely people who are there?
This is Aiden, will be 6. Will be a first grader at Lowry in Wilsonville. And this is Theo, he's gonna be 10 in a month. And he will be a 4th grader at Lowry, Wilsonville. And this is my wife. She's older than me, I'll say that much. Why is she older? She's done with school.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so the board's gonna come up here.
Yeah, I think kind of like right in that. If I see these. Yeah. So Rob and then Ryan and then Jane. And then one of the 2 of you come on the outside, please. And 2. Rob, get close for like there you go. Close, close, there you go. All right. So first.
Okay, so next, Casey Layton, will you please come up and share the college's new labor acknowledgement? Casey is the college's Chief Culture and Impact Officer.
Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. All right, I need this here. I'm going to do one of these. Okay, good evening, Chair, members of the board, and guests that we have here at our board meeting, the Clackamas Community College Board meeting. My name is Casey Layton, and I am the college's Chief Culture and Impact Officer. As you know, our college begins each meeting with both a land acknowledgement and a labor acknowledgement. We offer these acknowledgements as a vital reminder that we are a work in progress, continually striving to fulfill our mission to cultivate equitable, innovative, and responsive education. This practice also reinforces our core values of learning, equity, student success, community, and belonging. We wanted to provide you a brief update regarding the labor acknowledgement. Upon my arrival, both acknowledgements were already in use. The land acknowledgement was thoughtfully drafted in collaboration with the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and remains adopted. However, it was determined that our labor acknowledgement could benefit from revision to be more inclusive. To address this, our college's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, which is a state-mandated work group for all higher education institutions, undertook a collaborative process. They worked closely with the members of our Policy and Reporting Subcommittee to draft an updated and more comprehensive statement. This revised labor acknowledgement is now in use, reflecting our ongoing commitment to recognize the contributions that have helped build and continue to sustain our institution. And I'll now read it for our meeting today. The CCC Land Acknowledgement. Thank you, Katie. We acknowledge that the Clackamas Community College campuses reside on the traditional homelands of the Clackamas, Cascades, and Tumwater bands of Chinooks, as well as the Tualatin and Pudding River bands of Kalapuya and the Northern Molalla people. They lived and prospered by maintaining strong cultural ties to the land and through wise management of resources. As signers of the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, they were removed from their homelands to the Grand Ronde Indian Reservation, where they became members of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. Please join us in taking this opportunity to thank and honor the original caretakers of this land, their lives, and their descendants that live on as tribal members today, still carrying on the traditions and cultures of their ancestors. Thank you. I'll now read the updated labor acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the foundation and wealth of the United States was built upon the forced labor of enslaved African people, involuntary and trafficked indigenous labor, and often exploited labor of immigrant domestic and farm workers. Their vital contributions and resilience in spite of violence, terror tactics, and bloodshed are integral to understanding our nation's past, present, and hope of what's to come. The prosperity many enjoy today is rooted in centuries of labor extracted under conditions of injustice, inequality, and ongoing systemic oppression. Acknowledging this truth is a step towards honoring those who were denied justice and toward creating a future that is more equitable, inclusive, and humane. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Okay, we will now be holding a public hearing on the proposed 2025-2026 budget. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the board about the budget only. There's another public comment period following this hearing for comments related to other college business. So to ensure that all voices are heard, please share your budget comments before the end of the budget hearing. So during this hearing, we ask that you abide by the following rules. Please clearly state your first and last name and city of residency before you begin. Please direct comments to me, the board chair. keep comments to 3 minutes or less. And there'll be a timer on the displayed on the TV screens. And if you go longer than 3 minutes, I will interrupt you. And so please honor that because we do have quite a few people who have signed up. And actually, no one may share or delegate their 3-minute time period to another individual. The board will not hear complaints concerning individual college district personnel. If you have a complaint, please follow the appropriate complaint process available on the college's website. And the board does not engage during this hearing. We're here to listen. So I would like to note for the record also that there were written comments received from the public and follow-up information from staff relating to the budget that had been received and are attached in the agenda packet that's online. So, okay, I will now open the public hearing. I'll strike the gavel as well. So we are now open for a public hearing. And I'm going to call 2 names at a time. So you both come up to the table and the seats there, please. And we'll take, then you speak one at a time. And so let's see, the first 2 I have are Mark Farley and Tom Bartholomew. So if you both will come up.
And please,
And please,
yeah.
oh,
Don't forget to start by saying your first and last name and city of residency for the record. Thank you.
Who do you want to start first? Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, this is my own thoughts. My name is Mark Farley. I live in Portland. The question I have for the Clackamas Community College budget members are not where is the money, but where did you spend it? You, the Clackamas Community College budget members, are responsible for the everyday fiscal decisions of this college, and you failed. You failed to see the declining student tuition, declining property taxes income, and the state funding's failures to keep up with inflation over the last couple of years. And now your knee-jerk response is to cancel classes and reduce student tuition. I don't know if the board members were voted in, volunteers. I see now that they are voted in because I was at one, but or a paid position. But you took us to this point. Not the instructors in the classroom who you didn't reach out to for input, but your colleagues. Remember the old saying, if everybody is nodding their head yes, then nobody is thinking. The buck stops with you, and you failed to see the decisions that you made were leading to budget shortfall. When drastic cuts are the only way to fix the budget is to fire employees that have worked for years to build this community we call auto restoration with a Zoom call, then I feel the only decisions you should take now is to resign from the budget committee and step down. All of you. Thank you.
I'm Tom Bartholomew. I live in Canby. My take's a little different. I'm kind of new to this, but after told that we weren't going to have class anymore, I went home and looked at the curriculum at the school. And I was a little surprised. If you want to work with your hands, shape metal and learn how to solder, you can make jewelry here. If you want to learn how to mix paint and work with brushes, you can paint naked people here. You can learn Tai Chi, you can do yoga. You can learn how to garden. You can learn how to cook. You can do a lot of things here. You can take aqua aerobics, all this stuff, wilderness survival. You can, if you want to gaze at the stars, you can do astronomy here. But my point is, all of that is for self-edification. And the classes that we take here, that I take, and that he takes, and a lot of people here, is for self-edification. We pay our taxes. This is a community college, and we deserve to have the chance to work in a place that is safe, that is made for what we do. And we deserve to have the classes reinstated. And I think there are some things that are really mixed up, and there are other people who will speak after me that could clarify it. But I just feel that there's no right way to do a wrong thing. And I think what was done was wrong. And I don't think it was fair. Thank you.
Patrick Nesbitt and Trent Luther. Oh, I'm sorry. Dave Seeley and Patrick Nesbitt. I skipped someone. Thank you.
Yep.
And Dave Seeley first,
Yep.
and okay, that would, yes, you'd be first. And so also your
Okay.
community and, yeah.
I'm Dave Seeley, and I'm an Oregon City resident.
Thank you.
My name's Dave. I've been with CCC for about 13 years. I started out in one of these Saturday classes and decided I needed more information to be proficient in that class, so I signed up for the daytime classes, went full-time. 2 years later and $12,000, I ended up with a degree out of this program. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me. But my situation's not unique. A lot of the folks in this room have followed the same path. They've supported this college for years and years and years, literally decades. I spent the last few days looking over the budget, all 133 pages. I would not want your job. Page 11 talks about reduction of programs with lower participation. The Saturday classes we are fighting to keep don't fall in those parameters. These classes are consistently full. It talks about taking the data approach to cutting classes. What about the human approach? What about the effect on the community this is having? We could have had an accountant go through and do the numbers. Non-degree classes, talking about canceling those. Are you going to cancel all of them or just ours because it is a non-degree class? A high percentage of CCC students are not here for a degree. Tuition waivers. I've done a little reading on that. Page 28 states net tuition revenue will rise $1.8 million even after tuition waivers. My numbers tell me that if more than half the participants got tuition waivers, the class would still be self-sustaining. That's where we got rid of the human part of this. These classes have sometimes been referred to as hobby classes. They're in no way, shape, or form hobby classes. These are dedicated individuals that enjoy learning how to work on their own vehicles. Some of these people have been in these classes for more than 2 decades. In all honesty, I have to say, I've been in these classes over and over and over, and I have never, ever seen anyone associated with the college come to one of these classes to see what actually goes on. These are the types of people, the dedication they have that can tell you the make of a car and the year probably just by looking at the taillights. That's how dedicated they are to this. Last Saturday class I was in, I helped a young man paint a Mustang him and his dad were working on. Dad didn't paint, either did the kid. I went in and gave him some pointers and helped him paint this nice Mustang. I told the dad the kid had a talent for painting. Dad said, that's why we're here in this class. He struggled in high school and I wanted him to find something that he could make a living at. He went in and signed up for the daytime classes. He will now be a 2-year student at CCC. These classes are a big part of our lives. It's what we do
Dave,
on
The
Saturday.
time is up on
Can I have
yours.
one?
One quick.
Okay. It's not a hobby. Quick question. I would like to ask all involved, if this is a garden club, quilting class, or a round of golf, one of your parents look forward to every Saturday, their chance to see friends, work on something that's their passion, and the cost was next to nothing, next to a multi-million dollar budget, how would you vote? Thank you.
Patrick?
Okay, my name is Pat Nesbitt. I live in Molalla. I've been an instructor at Clackamas Community College since 1993. And I was a full-time instructor. And then when I retired from full-time work, I became a part-time teaching this class, which I started doing in 94. So I've seen a lot of people, seen a lot of kids come through it. And like Dave said, I've had to be evaluated by my peers, by my students, and even myself, but I've never had the opportunity to evaluate an administrator. That the people who make these decisions don't ever come to my class. They just decide it's too expensive or something. I feel I'm expendable, but my students aren't. Many of these people started a project with the idea they could finish it. They even, when we were told by Zoom call that we weren't having a class any longer, I said, how about summer class? This could give the students a chance to go a little bit further and kind of wrap up some of their stuff instead of leaving them right in the lurch with one class left to do. That the whole thing was, I think, was poorly done. I thought we should have time to finish up, that maybe even go on longer. All of my students are my friends, and that I don't want to see them stuck with a project they can't finish. That's about what my biggest complaint.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Okay, next are Trent Luther and John Clemson.
I'll go first. Excuse me. John Clemson, I reside in Aurora. You all have heard the testimony and have received written comments regarding the elimination of the 5 automotive classes, mine included. I've reviewed the automotive programs related reduction package, and the loss of the $158,000 has only been based on wages and salaries, along with payroll taxes and benefits for the part-time and full-time instructors associated with these courses. There is no accounting, though, for the loss of revenue resulting from these cuts. CCC will lose the full tuition paid for by non-seniors, for example. CCC will lose class fees of approximately $250 per term that all students pay regardless of age. These classes are not free for seniors, as you were told on May 14th. Should these fees and tuition paid by other than seniors be factored in, I believe the total savings to the budget is most likely closer to around $90,000. The reduction of low enrollment classes on campus still means that these classes are available. The 5 automotive classes were completely eliminated. It would appear that as if the department was targeted or voluntarily agreed to be targeted. It would seem that the college would want to add courses, not eliminate them. After all, that's what you all in the business to do. The discussions here tonight are not about creation of community ed classes. It's about reinstatement of the classes that have already been terminated. And by the way, they were terminated from the summer schedule even before the proposal to the budget had been reviewed and adopted. How is that allowed to happen? The college further argues that those courses not leading to certificates or degrees should be cut. For years, these courses were offered as part of the automotive curriculum with no issues or concerns. As far as community ed classes go, Dr. Plotkin's right. They are not positioned to be community education classes. or courses because they need to be partnered with community sponsors as currently defined. And among those partnering body, who would be the best to sponsor these classes? The city of Wilsonville, the city of Oregon City, Gladstone Community School? I don't think so. The school has taken away the easy way out when determining how to remedy a $3 million deficit. The actions offered are not relative of hard choices. Elimination of vacant faculty, administrator, and classified positions is easy. The college has some tough decisions to make to achieve the $650,000 in cuts. The reduction in force of 4 to 5 administrators could make that happen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Hopefully you will include an amendment in the budget to bring back the eliminated automotive classes. Thank you for your time.
My name is Martin Luther. I am a graduate from Treasure Valley Community College. I'm currently a resident in Damascus, Oregon. I graduated from a community college that supported the community. I am disgusted, Jane, in the way you've handled this. I'm going to save everybody some time. I'm not going to reiterate the same things that everybody has just said. All I can say is I'm disgusted and I agree.
Thank you both. Melinda Wild and Terry McGarth or McCarthy.
Oh, okay, no problem. I'm Melinda Wild. I'm a student in the class, or was until they were canceled. I'm a resident of Happy Valley. CCC administrators failed to follow the budget process in cutting these classes. They made the Board of Education irrelevant by implementing the cuts before they even presented you with the proposed budget, before it was approved or adopted. They made these cuts before there was a public comment allowed. So none of the students in this room had a say or a voice in the room before the CCC administrators cut these courses. You are the voice of the public, not of the administration. We're asking you to listen to them and to implement budget law that permits you to make changes from the approved budget before you adopt it by reinstating the automotive courses. Failure to involve the CC administrators told you on May 14th that there was a budget advisory subcommittee appointed to review these changes before the cuts were made. There was no subcommittee. There was no discussion with affected students, faculty, or the department heads in charge of the automotive department. We simply received a Zoom call saying these classes were terminated effective July 1st. This notice was given early May. CCC administrators had told you they had been working on this for a year. Why couldn't they involve at least the department heads in that 1 year that they worked on these budget cuts? Because they knew that we would come up with a way to make these classes self-sustaining. They can be self-sustaining. They do not cost $158,000 a year. You were provided a $158,000 budget that said only the expenses of the salaries of the teachers. These teachers, most of them do not get PERS, they do not get health benefits, they do not get COLA increases. Administrators do. Between 2019 and 2025, this school hired 19 new administrators. They sustained those administrators on one-time COVID funds. Those administrators cost an additional $3.3 million per year. Now we have a shortfall of $3 million because the COVID money has run out. The administration knew that this was going to happen, and rather than cut this irresponsible hiring of too many administrators, they're cutting this class that maybe saves the school $90,000 at a cost of great ill will among the students here. No glide path was offered to these classes. They can be made self-sustaining. I would ask that you look at the HECC documents I provided you on May 21st, because they are showing that this school has invested in administrators and not in faculty and education. Thank you. I ask you to adopt this budget without the cuts to the automotive classes.
Terry?
My name is Terry McCarthy. I'm here to support the program. I didn't realize when I signed that sheet, Dawn and I did, and we came in late, that we were supposed to speak.
Oh.
But I just want to let you know I'm here to support the program. And I'm really disappointed in the cuts. Thank you.
Thank you. So Don and Donna Vance and Jenny Ferguson.
He spoke for me.
He did, okay. Or is it Jerry?
Yes, it's Jerry.
Okay, your R's and your N's look awful
I know, I'm
alike.
bad. Lack of education.
Oh, well.
Penmanship. Yeah, 1971. All right, my name is Jerry Ferguson. I live here in Clackamas County, Oregon City. A little bit about myself. I'm a father, a husband. I have 3 children. All 3 children have gone to school here. In fact, my wife went to school and became an RN. I am a retired postal worker. I was in the Navy and I'm a disabled veteran. One more thing that I'm proud of is that I'm 72 years old and still able to get around and communicate and so forth. I'm going to trot out an old pony that I have been paying taxes in Clackamas County for 45 years. I have always supported any budgets for the school district, for the community college, without fail. I've participated, done my civic duty in voting almost every election in the last 45 years. I worked, my life, putting my kids through school. I wanted to go back to college, but, life gets in the way. Finally, I get to the point where I'm retired and I have a little bit of hobby money. And I've been taking the body classes here for a few years now. Something that I treasure and a lot of these people treasure. It's not only owning the cars, but it's working on the cars. It's the community that we've grown. I've got a lot of friends I never knew I had. But now that I've gotten to be 72 years old and I'm able to take these classes, and I felt like I was entitled to them. That might not be right, but I paid taxes. And now because I'm 72 years old, they decided that they're going to cut the classes out because there was too many of us in those classes with the tuition waivers. This is something that the colleges provided, and I think the state as I don't know if they mandated, but you have encouraged senior citizens to attend these classes. I know you have a great outreach to disabled veterans and veterans, but I feel at this point that I've been let down personally. I paid those taxes thinking that I would be able to benefit personally, other than my children. And now it's been taken away from me. For me, the taxes I spend is a lot of money. For a lot of people, it might be not a lot of money. But I really thought I would get some kind of return on my investment and my investment in the community college. But anyway, I want to thank you for the time, and I hope you look into seeing what you can do to help us out, our senior citizens. I don't want to sound too corny, but we did help build this community, and we did help build this nation, and our veterans, and it's time to appreciate that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, that was the last speaker that we have for tonight in the Budget Committee portion of this. So I'm going to close the public hearing and we're going to recess for 10 minutes. And we're going to be reconvening around, let's see, what time is it? Okay, so let's, around 6:50, 6:40, 6:47.
We'll reconvene at 6:47.
Hey. I would like to reconvene the Clackamas Community College Board of Education, and it is around 10:47. Is that right? Good. Or not 10:47, just see, it just feels like it's 10:47. So on to public comment. We welcome community members to attend board meetings to become acquainted with the programs and operations of the college district. Now is the time for the regular public comment period where anyone can speak on any items except the 2025-26 budget because the public hearing is closed. We just had that. So please keep comments to 3 minutes or less. And has anyone signed up virtually? No? Okay, but we do have someone in person here, and it is Catherine Long. Come on up, Kat.
Can you hear me all right? Okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you. Chair Reed and members of the Board of Education, my name is Catherine Long. I'm a resident of Clackamas and I'm full-time faculty. I'm here tonight to request that whenever information comes to you about the bond, you always ask one important question. How have we considered accessibility? On Monday, I observed an ESOL student, so that's English for Speakers of Other Languages, who left class and headed to her car in the yellow parking lot. Because there is no curb cut to the parking lot nearest the Dye Learning Center, she rode her mobility device behind Dye to the building's rear entrance near the dumpster where there is a driveway. She exited the sidewalk and turned onto the road, riding her mobility device along the turnaround until she reached her parking space. On this side of Nehemiah, the accessible parking spaces are not near the building. Instead, they are in the 4th row nearest the main road. I spoke with one of my students before class today because last term he wrote about his disability. He doesn't use a mobility device, so he walks to the Dye Learning Center. He told me that he is experiencing a lot of pain in his right leg and it's hard to walk. I asked him if he would like a curb cut that is closer to Dye in the yellow lot where he parks. He said yes. For 22 years, I have watched individuals struggle with no curb cut in the yellow parking lot closest to Streeter and Dye, where our ESOL students, our GED students, and others who want to access the library park. It isn't enough to only have accessible parking on the far side of Nehemiah. I think we can do better than that. There are also no accessibility tools, like the button, for any of the restroom doors in Harmony West on the Harmony campus. This is one of our newest buildings from the last bond. So you have to be able to turn the door handle and push or pull open a heavy door to enter. There are no accessibility tools for the doors to many spaces in Wachino, the all-user restroom, the entrances to the testing center, counseling, and even the DRC, Disability Resource Center. Too many pieces of furniture within our buildings do not reflect UDL or meet the needs of individuals with a variety of accessibility needs. These should have been addressed with the previous bond, but they weren't. I think we can do better this time. And so that is why I am hoping that you, while we implement the projects for the bond, will keep asking the question, how have we considered accessibility? Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to the consent agenda. It consists of the following items. Approval of minutes of the regular session May 21st, 2025, minutes of the special session, May 27th, 2025, program suspension of retail management certificate of completion, program suspension of first line supervisory fundamentals, and a new program, emergency management professional certificate of completion. And also acceptance of this is 2A, monthly financial reports, and 2B, the bond update. So does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
Chair Reed, I move to approve the consent agenda consisting of items A through B. 1H through 2B.
Okay, thank you. A second?
I second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items 1A through 2B. So we will vote by acclamation. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all those opposed, say no. Okay, are there any abstentions? So the motion passes. And we are going to move on now to new business, first read of new business. We have resolution number R2526-03. Adoption of findings and authorizing the use of construction manager / general contractor, GMGC, approach for the Natural Resources Center of Excellence. As the board, we will also be serving as the local contracting board regarding this item, and we will be holding a public hearing at the July 16th, 2025 board meeting. So I am going to invite Dean Ron Prince up and to present this item. And
thank you, Chair Reed and fellow board members. Again, Ron Prince, Dean of Campus Services here at the college. Thank you for this opportunity tonight to submit this first read opportunity to have a CMGC alternative approach to building the new NRCE building that will support programs for arboriculture, horticulture, and wildland fire. I want to introduce our owner's rep, Dale from Winnahaw, who has done some due diligence and work with looking at different methods to do this.
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, Chair Reed and members of the board. We had a good, robust discussion with the bond leadership group about which contracting method to use, and this resolution that we're doing the first reading is the outcome of that. We had industry professionals and members of the staff that have been involved in the previous bond work here to discuss hard bid versus CMGC. CMGC is a collaborative negotiated process that's based on a competitive selection of the contractors. It has lots of good attributes, including built-in competition for subcontractor bidding and other ways to keep costs under control. It provides a number of benefits, which you'll find listed out in the draft findings that were attached in your packet. Wanted to we're open to questions if you have any. Otherwise, we'll be back next month for the formal adoption process.
does anyone have any questions about this process or about the approach to this or what's before us here? No, I guess not. I also just wanted to say while you're here, we approved this in the consent agenda, but I just wanted to comment on the bond update that we're getting every month and how much I appreciate that and how much that will probably be on the consent agenda every time. But when there are some really powerful things that we need to know about, I mean, there always are going to be because it is moving along on so many different fronts. But we'd love to hear from you about some of those things. So I don't know if there are any now that you want to bring forth, one or two nuggets of
across the plaza, you'll see a roof project going on. That's our first big job out of the gate, and it's been a long time coming. A lot of maintenance has been needed over the years, and this will take care of that for a good many years. That project should be completed before school starts, but over the summer, there'll be minimal disruptions with some asphalt odors and things like that. But it's a much needed project that'll go a long way. Next month, you'll be hearing from us about the athletics improvements project. We're going to bring a resolution to the board with that, and we'll have some slides to give you a visual of what the projects are envisioned to look like. So that's exciting. We are in the process of negotiating the design contract for the NRCE building. Should have that wrapped up relatively soon, and we're already scheduling design meetings with stakeholders and partners for that project. It takes about a year to design a big new building, so stand by for that. We hope to break ground next summer with the earthwork on that project. The Loop Trail, we had a good meeting with the city today, learned that they're supportive of the project, and we're on a path for probably bidding that work out in the early fall, hopefully starting it also in the maybe mid-fall. Shouldn't take too long to complete that project, but it'll provide a nice continuous loop around the campus instead of the discontinuous loop that you have right now. One of the key attributes of that project is to take care of any ADA issues. There are curb cuts being added in a variety of places to support that loop project, and getting rid of gravel and some of those other unsafe surfaces as well. What am I missing, Ron?
Maintenance yard?
Maintenance yard. Why don't you talk about the maintenance yard?
Sure, love to.
Thank you.
We're in the design process right now for the maintenance yard renovation. That project's going well. We had
The
a
what renovation?
maintenance yard.
Maintenance yard.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I had a great meeting last week with the city. They're very receptive and had some really good things to say, with some good guidance for us for possible combining scope between our walking trail project and our maintenance yard project. So there's definitely some good progress going on with that project as well.
Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. So we'll be coming back in next month, July 16th, to vote on this resolution. So another new business action item. Our first item is the 24-25 budget amendment, and I would like to invite up Dean Christy Owen to provide us with an overview of the proposed changes. And this is for 24-25 budget.
Hello and good evening. My name is Christy Owen, Dean of Business Services, and as referenced, this is an amendment to the current fiscal year, which ends in about 5 days. So we basically watch for any area where the appropriation schedule has potential of a resource to keep revenues and expenses in balance, and we recognize revenues as they come in through the year. We check them against expenses. And the items on the resolution before you today, I'm sorry, not resolution, the report before you today does include a transfer to ensure that one of our enterprise funds or our Environmental Learning Center Fund, or ELC, that there is capacity because this fund receives payments from its outside contracted support late into the fiscal year. We don't know if we will need that transfer, but this is to ensure that there is appropriation category there in the event that we do. So that's the primary item. The other two that are on this were really just to, while we're in here looking at it, we could see that there was some additional revenues that had come in for course fees. So to recognize those revenues and to program them. The intention is that most of these adjustments would come in our May amendment, as they did last month, and these are just our final ones for this current fiscal year. Are there any questions on the amendment?
Okay, so we need to have a motion. If there are no questions, do we have a motion to approve the 24-25 budget amendment and appropriation transfers?
I move to approve the 2024 to 2025 budget amendment and appropriation transfers.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Okay, and we have a second by Joe. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Okay, for the record, the motion passes. So moving on to 2025-26 budget adoption. I would like to call up Vice President Jeff Schaefer and Dean Christy Owen, but we'll first turn it over to Vice President David Plotkin to begin this presentation. This is resolution number R2425-32, adopting the 25-26 budget.
Thank you, Chair Reed, Board of Directors. The fiscal year 2025-26 budget. Thank you, Katie. Can you keep going? Keep going. There we go. I am, by the way, standing in for President Cook as he's on leave. The fiscal year 2025-26 budget reflects the board guidance and board policies from our meetings last spring and more recently in the fall of 2024. Those priorities and guidance include prioritize core services in support of the college strategic plan. No longer rely on one-time funds to balance general operations. A set goal to reduce, if not eliminate, the structural deficit in the forecast. In staying core to our mission, first, it's important to preserve our core academic services. The fiscal year 2025-26 budget does not eliminate academic departments or programs. The degrees and certificates we offer in 2024-25 will be offered in 25-26. Approximately 100 out of 5,000 section offerings have been eliminated from next year's schedule. 98% of the sections remain. It's also critically important to preserve our core student supports. Many of our students are quite vulnerable, first in their family to go to college, and have quite a lot of difficulty completing their degrees in order to transform their family's trajectory economically. The college hopes to maintain all grant-funded navigator positions that serve these most vulnerable students. We will use braided funding of financial resources, including tuition waivers, foundation support, community resources, more efficiently to support students in need. We seek to limit the impact of budget reductions on CCC students seeking to further their goals by preparing for family wage jobs through career technical education or transfer. Finally, it's important to maintain core business and operations functions. As we mentioned, or as was mentioned last month, the work will continue into fiscal year 2025-26. $2.35 million of the deficit, 75%. Those reductions will be implemented this summer, 25-26. The remaining $650,000 represents continued work for our glide path off one-time funds. The overarching theme from our budget advisory subgroup to address inefficient processes and systems. Important to the executive team to bring in department input and perspectives for closing out those remaining dollars. And at this point, I will turn it over to Vice President Schaefer and Christy.
All right, thank you. Just a couple slides. We felt that at last month's meeting, we didn't dig in too much to our budget process. So this is a busy slide. I know it's difficult to read, but we wanted to give a a one-shot, one-page summary of what our process looked like. So this was all our involvement, feedback, and assessments that we did throughout all those budget reductions that we were just talking about. So the top area, you see our budget advisory subgroup. That's made up of 20 members from across the college community of associate faculty, full-time faculty, and administration and classified staff. All got together and had 7 meetings going through all those budget reductions and all the data. We also have our finance council that's made up of 10 members from different groups across college that had 11 meetings discussing our entire budget process and getting educated in all these different budget reductions in our budget. And then our college leadership had 15 members from administration that had 16 different meetings coming up with what's core to mission, where are we going to come up with our data analysis to provide for these budget decisions. So that top section just shows how much work and how large those different and diverse those committees were that led to 1,200 hours of meetings that we all went through to get to that 2.35 million and the 650 glide path that we've been discussing. So just give you a little sense of scale. That doesn't include all that independent time that those individual managers were working on, those individual proposals. And then the bottom is really just those same meetings just shown over the calendar. It didn't all happen in a month. We started meeting in September. Coming up with that core to budget exercise really was the kickoff at the beginning of the academic year. And we had meetings all throughout the entire year to get to where we landed in the end of April with a final president's proposed budget. So just wanted to give that sense of overview for this group, just to know how much work was done by how many people and how many hours were spent in those 34 meetings to get to what you're seeing today. And then the glide path, as Vice President Plotkin mentioned, we have a glide path of that 650. So this is, think of it as the next steps, what's happening next with that. Right now in summer of 25, we're forming those glide path groups, which are really the groups sponsoring and really looking to say, what is the scope of this? What's in a scope? What's out of scope? What does the timeline look like? Who do we need to bring into the room? So it's really the planning for those glide path areas. And then in fall, we will actually begin doing the work with those, bringing in all the subject matter experts. When folks come back from contract faculty and other folks, we will start bringing everybody in and start working on those individual glide path areas and laying out those plans. And then in winter, we're hopeful that we'll have the findings done. The new forecast will be updated at that point, and then we'll see where we're at between the new forecast and where the groups landed on those glide paths and be able to implement those before we do the next proposed budget or weave those into the next proposed budget that you'll see next fiscal year at the end of this time next year. So with that, that's the final slide, and we'll take any questions that you have.
Board, do we have any questions for, I guess, for David or for? No.
Was automotive involved?
We don't have any automotive faculty or staff on our budget advisory subgroup. Those were done through an application process. And then when we received all the applications, we actually had our math faculty instructor do a random generator wheel and actually televised it for who was going to get selected. But it was most of the folks who put in applications. I think we had about 25 total people that would have been possible, and we ended up with 20 that got selected as part of that group. So, but we didn't have anybody from automotive put in an application.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, so my question is, being new here, what is the process that you typically go through to determine a course is going to end? And are those decisions traditionally connected to the annual budget process or approval or not? Not a program, specific courses.
Specific courses are reviewed at the department or dean level, and decisions to run them or not are made at that level. They are never taken to the board. The reason they were included in this year's process is they were part of the reduction package overall.
Any more questions or discussion? Okay, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2425-32, adopting the 2025 budget, making appropriations and levying taxes? To approve that resolution for total amount of $284,812,184 and imposing the taxes of a permanent tax rate of 0.5582 per 0.5582 cents per $1,000 categorized as education, and approving general obligation bond amount of $11,729,927 categorized as excluded from limitation. So all those in favor, please say aye. Nope, nope.
You need a motion.
Oh, would someone like to repeat what I just said? Would you? Yeah, thank you.
I move to approve resolution number R24/25-32, approving the 2025-2026 budget in the aggregate amount of $284,812,184 and imposing the taxes of a permanent tax rate of 0.5582 per 1,000 categorized as education. And approving general obligation bond amount of $11,729,927 categorized as excluded from limitation.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Irene. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. Are there any abstentions? So state for the record that the motion passes. All right, our next item of business is under new business is resolution number 2425-33, adopting the May 13th, 2025 special district election canvass from the Clackamas County Elections Office as provided in our agenda packet. Are there any questions or discussions about the results of the election? And if not, would someone be willing to make this motion?
I move to approve resolution number R24/25-33, adopting the May 13th, 2025 special district election canvass.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Say no. Any abstentions? Okay, so for the record, the motion passes. All righty. So now we're going on to student and faculty presentations, and we're going to hear regarding the 2025 Oregon Collegiate Newspaper Awards, and I'd like to invite Interim Dean Ashley Sears to please come forward with the students presenting, and she can introduce them, and we'll go from there.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm here to introduce some students from the Clackamas Print, the co-editors-in-chief, Evan Titchener and Quentin Prudhomme. They're going to talk about the Clackamas Print. I brought this for a little bit of showmanship, a little bit of pizzazz.
It is pizzazzy. It's very.
Afternoon.
Hi, welcome.
I'm Evan Tishner.
Evan and
Quentin Prudhomme.
Quentin. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Quentin and I have been students, or I guess I've been a student of CCC for the past few years. And the most recent year, we got to be co-editors in chief on the Clackamas Sprint. It was a great experience, and we have lots to share about this year.
Great.
I've been a student at CCC since 2018. I graduated here with my GED. And I've been restarted last winter term, not this last 2023, 2024 winter term. So then.
Great.
And as you heard, we won 27 awards this year as a print. It was a great year. So I'm just going to go over a few things. I want to start out with why journalism is important to CCC and colleges in general. There's a lot students get to learn. We get to be on a student-led team where they get to learn leadership experience, team building experience, and as well as journalism experience, which relates to real-world writing and just writing and photography and people skills. It's very strong.
Yeah, communication as well.
It also gives students a platform to speak on what they feel is important, especially in this community and what's going around on campus. It allows students to write and take photos of what they feel is important to report on. And so you'll see that on our website and in the Clackamas print, especially our physical copies. It's like a look back of the term and what our best stories and photos were. I'm going to move on. We won 13 ONPA awards and 14 PNAGE awards. Mouthful. I don't even know the names of them. Along with
Association of Journalistic Excellence. Okay, I'm just trying to figure
There you
that one
go.
out.
Nice. As well as a total of 10 first place prizes from both those categories. And you can see that little photo in the background. That's our team. When I first started on the print, I think it was us and 7 different people. And now it's grown over to 20 people and the classroom is at full size. We actually have more students than computers in that classroom. So it's been great to see the room grow as much as it did. I'm going to let Quentin take over.
Yeah, I won quite a few awards for some of the photos I took at campus protests that took place after the October 7th attacks against Israel. These were at PSU when I got these. This experience was, really important to me. It kind of taught me what I wanted to do with my life. Just to reiterate, I got my GED. I suffered from depression, and in high school, I couldn't continue in a traditional, education learning center. And Clackamas Community College offered me an alternative, and I'm very appreciative of that. And when I decided to return to school in 2023-2024 winter term, I took a class on a whim, a journalism class, because I needed it to get my associate degree, and I just fell in love with it. And I think being here at the PSU protests, and being able to listen to student voices about what they were upset about and what they wanted to change, and me being able to provide a platform for that voice to be heard, it taught me the importance not only of journalism but of being there for the public and being a provider for people in my community. So I fell in love with that, and I'm very appreciative of Melissa Jones, the one-woman workhorse of the journalism department at Clackamas Community College. She does so much for students, and yeah.
I'm going to move on. Carlos is not here with us today, but I would like to shed some light on Carlos. When he first joined the print, English is, just to give you some backstory, English is Carlos's second language. When he first started on the print, it was very quiet, very soft-spoken, but he found a love for photography and video editing, And so when he first started on the print, he did a lot of photo stories, not much writing of actual stories because it was difficult for him to, but it allowed him to go out, take photos, express how he sees the world and how he would like to report on it. And he won a first place prize in sports photography. And I'd like to highlight that photo there. You see a man fly fishing, or I think just fishing off the shore, with a rainbow in the background, which is not a normal, you would think, sports photography type photo. You'd think basketball or football or stuff like that. But that was the first place winning sports photography photo in the ONPA Collegiate. So, yeah, nice job, Carlos. I also want to shed some light on stuff that I didn't put on into this presentation, but we also won awards in Best Web and as well as Best News Story and a bunch of other stuff that just doesn't look great on a slideshow, but I'm really proud of. Here's a little thank you from us to you guys for supporting this program and just allowing students to have a creative mind. I want to thank you for your continued support of the student media at the Clackamas Community College. The awards we've received this year serve as a reflection of high level of excellence our students are capable of achieving when given the opportunity to lead and create. Through their work with the Clackamas Print, students are not only producing high-quality journalism, but also developing essential skills in critical thinking, communication, leadership, and teamwork, all of which prepare them for future academic professional success. These accomplishments underscore the value and importance of maintaining strong support from student-led programs. Questions?
Thank you, Jess. Do anyone have questions? Okay, no.
Evan, how long have you been doing journalism?
I've been doing journalism 2 years. I started my final term in high school and started as a photo editor on the Clackamas Print last year, and then editor-in-chief. Oh, sorry, 2 years ago, I guess I was photo editor, and then last year I was editor-in-chief.
I want to tell you that print, that pamphlet that you have is very, very attractive.
Yeah, we are extremely proud of this. I don't know if you guys remember, but 2 years ago, we were a newspaper.
Absolutely.
And we took a huge change and a big leap to switch over to magazine. And it's been a hard learning curve, but I feel like we've done a great job.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much.
What was the major differences between doing the print and, doing it as a broadsheet and then doing it as a magazine?
Well, I mean, I would rather pick this up than a magazine.
And I imagine maybe photography is more powerful in that.
Yes, colors are more accurate. It's definitely a lot easier to look at. And we also wanted to strive or get away from like a normal format where it's just words and black and white photos. And we wanted to highlight the creativity of designers from the print. So every single one of these pages are student design. And it allows them to have creativity in what they want to design and how they want to portray their stories on a physical copy instead of just a bland black and white newspaper.
If I could jump in here, we also wanted to strive for something that students would find attractive and would want to read. Because we and Evan, we attended a journalism conference in New York this last winter, and a lot of the talks were journalism is dying, and one of the only fields where it's growing is magazines. They continue to like push, so modernizing that and modernizing the program, students led, is also important. To make sure the education and preparing students for journalism jobs they would like to have.
And not to sit up here for too long, but I completely forgot. We have Gabe. Gabe Almuzla is in the back. He's going to be editor-in-chief for next year, and I would like to introduce him.
Okay.
Want to come say hi? You're going to come say hi.
Yeah, you better.
Gabe and the next co-editor-in-chief, Jacob, are going to be running it next year.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here. Jacob says hello. He unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but he just wanted to let you all know that he's very grateful, for the position.
I just have a question. Are these gonna be mailed out to homes, just like the newspaper was?
These are not mailed out to homes. The way they were mailed out before was a inter-office service I think Melissa was doing. I believe she's still doing that, but the people that they are mailed to are handpicked. And
Handpicked.
Yeah.
I thought.
yeah. But there's also,
That-
there's 20 different
Pickup
boxes
spots? Okay.
around the school, so.
And are a lot of other colleges doing this as well, going to the magazine format?
Yes, so most other colleges were also on newspaper as of 5 years ago, but COVID changed a lot when it came to journalism and especially student voices. So we used, before COVID, it would be a weekly issue. And then COVID hit and there were no issues because no one was on campus. And so Melissa wanted to change it up. She said, let's start doing more stuff online. So we started doing more videos, more photos, all that sort of stuff, which has just boosted our readers and our online presence a ton, especially in the past year. And we just wanted to, get rid of the old and embrace the new. So that's why we're moving over to magazine. And we notice a lot of other schools are taking the same moves as well.
Interesting. It's an important role. It's an important thing to learn. And I'm glad you all are doing that and that you're putting that, because it's a lot of time that goes into that too, a lot of time.
A lot.
So, yeah. Well, thank you. Yes, please.
I will cautiously ask this question. Is objectivity still a goal of journalism?
What do you mean by that?
Unbiased review,
I could speak for that.
unbiased reporting. Yeah.
I'm currently interning at the Oregonian right now. And I can tell you, Melissa's ethics in the classroom have definitely prepared me for the real world. We often have discussions in class over whether it's ethical to have food at a meeting that is provided. We try and strive for being as unbiased as possible. And having an advisor who is so present in the room really helps, because any questions or concerns, she will answer anything, anytime, any time of day. I'm sure every person in our classroom can speak to a moment where Melissa has, sat down with them and talked to them about how they're doing, what they would like to see changed in the class. I know this for a fact because we do an exit interview at the end of every term. Whether you're an editor, a staff writer, editor-in-chief, doesn't matter. You're sitting down and talking to her about how your term went. We have meetings before every class. We often have discussions with the full class, getting everyone's opinion on something. I can assure you objectivity is 100%, objectivity, unbiased reporting is 100% a goal in our newsroom. And I feel that we strive and achieve that, through constant communication with our advisor.
A little fun fact, every term, every student in the class has to put their hand on our, what's the book? Our handbook is what we call it, and read off the code of ethics and swear by the code of ethics of journalism. So yes, we do follow the code of ethics. Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reassuring. Thank you.
So Evan and Quentin, are you going to be here next year at Clackamas, or are you moving on to something else?
I'm going to be moving on. I'm going to start focusing on other career paths, but Quentin will be staying.
Yeah, I'll be here for at least fall term. I might be here winter term, depending on how things play out. But after, I'll either be at University of Oregon's journalism program, or I will be at Portland State University, hopefully working for the Vanguard there.
Well, thank you for amplifying student voices and for pursuing something that is most necessary in our world today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next item is a presentation from ASG regarding Wellness Month. And I'd like to invite the incoming ASG President, Brianna Davis, to please come forward and to the speaker table, and you can introduce yourself before beginning.
Hello, it's nice to get to see everyone.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Brianna Davis. I'm going to be, the incoming student body president for ASG this 2025, 2026. This is my first full year at CCC. I did take some class in college, but this is my first year full time. It has been a wonderful experience for me. Being in ASG as a whole is just life-changing, honestly. I've gotten to work with so many different people, and it's just been an incredible experience, I think. All right, now to get started on the Wellness Month review. All right, so the 2025 Wellness Month took place in May. Our main goal was to promote the 4 facets of wellness, including mental, physical, nutritional, and social wellness. We did this by hosting 4 events, or 4 event days and 2 month-long events. Our goal with these events was to partner with already successful events that had gone on at the college and add something smaller to really improve engagement for each week. Our first full day of events was the massage and bracelet making day. We hired the Body Bunch Massage. We've partnered with them many times. ASG hired them to do 20-minute chair massages for 4 hours with 4 separate therapists. This allowed the opportunity to serve 44 students and staff, or staff with massages. We also had tables open in the Wachino Mall for bracelet making, just to give students a break to, get away from all the stress of classes, spring term and all that. Our next event was the Harvest Your Own Salad and Take a Game Break. For these events, we partnered with the Horticulture Club and the NAMI Club. For the Harvest Your Own Salad, this was the first time we had done the event, and we partnered with the Horticulture Club to create an event that focused on nutritional health. Students and staff were able to make salad bowls with all of the freshly grown things that CCC had to offer. And then NAMI Club has been partnering with the MCC for multiple terms at this point to do an event called Take a Game Break. This time they partnered with us, and they were able to do fun outdoor activities along with the Harvest Your Own Salad event. The next large event day we had, or the event day, was the Wellness Fair. This took place mainly in the Wachino Mall. This event was meant to be our cornerstone event, with bringing a little bit of everything together to help students and staff just get away, make sure to take care of their mental health and whatnot. Clubs and resources were asked to come to the activity come with activities that focused on one of the 4 facets of wellness. Here we were featuring some of the fun things we did, such as puppy therapy, which got a huge reaction. People were in love with that. Art projects, we had some nutritional information, Jeopardy, and there was a car bash, so kind of like a demolition thing out by the gym, which a lot of people were very interested in. There was supposed to be a dunk tank, but unfortunately the weather advisory said that that would not be the best idea. So yes, everyone was very sad, but hopefully next year we'll be able to do it. So, but we got a very good reaction for the Wellness Fair. Next, we had our 2nd annual dodgeball tournament. We had 20 players total sign up, which was 10 students and 10 staff. For the games, they switched things up this year and did it as a round robin style to help determine your place in the bracket when doing games. This allowed for more games to be played. All right. And then we also attempted to do a wellness recipe collection, which unfortunately did not get any submissions. Comes with things, but hopefully we can promote it better next year to get more student and staff engagement. We also did a remote wellness step challenge, which is where essentially you just send out a challenge to students and staff to see who could get the most steps in during May. A total of 1,084,784 steps were submitted total. We had first, second, third, and then a participation winner. Our first place winner was Josiah. I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name. He's a lovely man, who gets a ton of steps in, and he got 100,000 or 187,962 steps. All right. We also have some pictures from the events, if we just want to look at those for a second. Can see up in the corner, that's our previous Clubs Chair Jasmine with the puppies. Just a bunch of people enjoying the events. Okay, so what went well? The massages are always a hit, but especially this term, anytime around finals, of course, is going to get people in there. Huge success, I would say. The wellness activities fair was very well received. We had some difficulties on the home side, but for students, we had a lot of big positive reviews for that. Dodgeball was good. For physical activity, it's always a classic for people, which they enjoy. It says here that students really enjoyed all the events, which I can say that they did. I had a lot of people coming up to me and other members of ASG and just asking questions or trying to get in touch to figure out what else they could do. But then we also figured out there are a lot of ways that we could improve next year. So for one, way more promotions for all of our events is something that we definitely want to look into. People always want to do things. They just aren't always aware that they're happening, unfortunately, until like the day of. Like I know specifically for the massages, people would be walking through and it would be like hours later and they'd be like, what, you were doing massages today? We had no idea. And hopefully we can eliminate that issue in the future. One of our ideas was also going to students in classrooms to talk about events that are going on. And then food at every event. We know that food stress is a huge issue for many students at CCC. So having the opportunity to relieve some of that along with the events, I think would be very helpful. For the recipe collection, we're also thinking of adding more of a remote option for it. So for students that aren't able to always come in person, they could still feel like they're participating in Wellness Month. We think that would be very helpful. And then we also wanted to plan the activities fair at the last of every month. So it's more likely to happen outside because again, many people were very disappointed that the dunk tank didn't end up happening, but hopefully we will be able to do it later. We wanted to do a special thanks to Greg Castenda, Jim, I should have read this, Martineau, the College Relations and Marketing team, and Gordon Christensen. We also had a ton of volunteers that helped out with the events. All of the clubs, all of the resources really came through, and we were very grateful for all of that. Thank you. And then are there any questions? Questions? No?
So I just wanted to know, I don't know if you've kept statistics or whatever, but how many students were engaging in your events if you kept the numbers? It looks on the pictures like everybody was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
I don't have the specific numbers, but we had really high turnout for the main events. So the activities fair, which is in the main Wachino Mall, that had this, I think, second highest. And then also, let me just go back through. The massage day had our, I think, biggest engagement. So those were our two main events. And then everything had pretty good engagement this year, minus the recipes thing. But yeah, no real flops, which is very exciting for us.
Thank you. That's so important to provide that kind of support for students.
Yeah, we're very happy to do so.
And the promotion thing is always so hard in whatever one does. That's what it is, so hard to get the word out. You wouldn't,
Yeah, no, I very much
everywhere.
understand. Yeah. You just have to plaster on every door, every window,
The idea of going to classes sounds kind of like a good one.
Yeah, we also wanted to talk to more clubs, I think. I wasn't in the making of this slideshow, but I think being able to talk to clubs so then like they can go out to their students that are with them and then, spread the word more naturally. I think that would also help.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's good. It's a wonderful report. Thank you very much. It's a lot of good work. And you might as well stay where you are because our next portion of this is association representative reports. So do you have anything to report from additional things that you want to share from ASG?
Additional things to share. Gosh, I was supposed to have another person here to help me with this today, but it's okay. We're doing an office remodel right now, which we're getting a report in progress, but we just started getting the room that we're looking out for fitted with electrical, I think. I saw,
Important.
yeah, very important. I saw a lot of construction vehicles over near that side of the building today. So I know that the head of that committee, she's taking some time off, so
Mhm.
we might not hear about that for a few minutes, but that's the main committee report going on right now. And I'm not sure about the other ones,
Okay,
unfortunately.
that's good though. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, and is that all?
Thanks a lot, Brianna. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Brianna,
Jane?
before you go, congratulations on being the new president.
Yes.
Jane, I'm fading and I would like to ask to be excused for the remainder of the meeting.
That's fine, Kate. Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
Great.
Better. All right.
Thanks. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye. Okay, classified, Jennifer Pope. Is Jennifer here? No, okay. Full-time faculty? I don't believe there's a full-time faculty either. Oh, he is here. Oh,
Chris Kanishka, I'm just here.
okay. Are you here to give a full-time faculty report or just here to just observe and just
I'm a sponge.
just sponging it all up? Okay, thank you. And associate faculty, is Christopher here? Nope. Okay. Well, then, college reports, David, can you give the president's report, please? Or the vice
Yes, I
president?
can. No, I'm giving the president's report as the vice president.
Okay.
I won't. Just want to let everyone know CCC is exhibiting a Molino-based artist, Jim Spillman. His exhibition is titled Living Remnants. It opened today with the use of photographs, paintings, mixed media, and literary work to call attention to the landscape, history of surfaces, and human interactions with them. It will remain open from today through July 31st. It's in the Alexander Gallery, which is in the Niemeyer Center. And it's open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, with the exception of holidays. And actually in summer, it's not probably going to be open on Fridays. And there will be an artist reception tomorrow, Thursday, June 26th from 3 to 4:30. And the college will begin summer hours, with this Friday, June 27th, being the first Friday closure. The college is closed every Friday during the summer through Labor Day. The college will also be closed on Thursday, July 3rd and Friday, July 4th for the holiday, the July 4th holiday. And finally, I was a little cagey when I said that Tim was on leave. Where in the world is Tim Cook? Tim has left running from Blue Mountain Community College and is on his way to Central Oregon Community College in Bend. On Monday, 6/23, he reached 200 miles as a milestone, and apparently his feet are starting to feel it. Today, he was running along the 6 Mile Canyon Highway. He should be arriving in Bend on Monday, June 30th, and Central Oregon Community College will be hosting a reception on Monday, June 30th at 3 p.m. for Tim. And that is the president's report.
Okay, thank you.
Was he too tired to zoom into our meeting this evening?
You'll need to ask him that question when he's back on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that update. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was going to do that. I've my board chair business report. We're at the board operations section and board chair business report. I really don't have much to report. Well, other than I don't know, as a chair, I should do that because I imagine all of us are going to want to comment on the amazing graduation and what a wonderful event that was and how so many proud and happy students and families. And I wanted to recognize all of the work that went on behind the scenes to make that happen as a lot. I mean, to just so many details and everyone seems to have mastered them there. It was great. And I was gonna say, next year, who knows? We may be in a new grandstand, but we may not be in a new grandstand. We might be where we were again, but we might be in a new grandstand. Who knows? And then just to add to Tim's, what you were saying, I was looking up today's and he ran through 31 miles and he burned 4,534 calories. And his song for the day was Fields of Gold by Sting. And I guess his feet are doing okay. But you can follow him. I don't know if people are following him, but you can follow him on Run for, well, you find out on our website, right? I mean, on the homepage. Okay, yeah. And if you haven't supported that, we get your friends and yourselves to, we can sponsor part of that too, which would be good to make that money, make it worth his while. So the next, I have a brief report on Oregon Community College Association. The legislative session is winding down, may finish as early as tomorrow. The transportation budget packet is still in progress, but all the higher education bills are completed. And then all new projects and reauthorization projects were funded at the level requested in House Bill 5505. These are capital construction projects, so that passed. We will be getting our Clackamas, Klamath, and Mount Hood will we be receiving funds for capital construction. There was also a bill that would have increased the cap on those bonds for community colleges because they are now at $8 million, and they've been there since like 2002 or something like that. So they wanted to double that. That bill did not go through. However, there was an amendment added to Senate Bill 5505 that will raise that cap to 12 million, from 8 million to 12 million, beginning in July, then projects that come after July 1st. So in the 2027 biennium session, we'll have a $12 million cap. What else? OCCA's final lunch and learn of this fiscal year will be tomorrow, June 26th at noon. And it is closing the series with Karen Smith, who is our senior policy advisor and general counsel, and she's going to talk about public meeting law and other basics of board service, which is a good one for a good reminder for all of us who can make it. And you can, it will be available afterwards to watch if we can't be there in person. So I think that's the OCCA report. So foundation, Joe Crenshaw, do you have something for the foundation?
Why, yes, I do. The Spring Foundation had a total of 977 applicants for round one of scholarship, which is a huge increase from the 660 applicants they had last year in round one. The average reader score was 77%. That's the score for the people who read their scholarship applications. And we rewarded about 30% of those. We awarded 295 scholarships totaling $537,552. In this past academic year, 2024-2025, the foundation distributed over $114,868 in student basic needs support to 136 students, and over $70,000 of that total was for housing. So I thank you to the foundation and all of its members. Job well done. Any questions or comments?
I just want to say great event last night for the mini golf. Thank you, Foundation, for putting on a really great fundraiser event, mini golf last night. Jim Martineau got the, do you want to share it with me? Lowest score in the mini golf. He won that award last night.
Okay. All right. Okay, so board members, do you have any comments or reports or things you want to share?
Well, first I wanted to say just how incredible the graduation was, and whoever designed it did such a good job because we had so many students graduating, but the line was just going so quickly that some of us didn't even get to do a second turn as we were passing out the diplomas. So that was well designed. Thank you. And I also wanted to thank Casey for updating the acknowledgement. I first heard the difference when we were at the graduation. I'm like, someone's been working on it. So thank you. It's much more inclusive and it just resonates more. Like I was all teared up all over again, just hearing it.
Credit to the DEI subcommittee policy and reporting. They help.
Thank you. And I also wanted to acknowledge everyone who showed up to speak to us today and share what the impact of our budget, how it's landing on the community. And I saw a lot of people in pain. And I also know that we have a role to play. And this is a really challenging time with budgets. And I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the people's voices today. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. I agree. Thank you for saying that. But I feel too.
Yeah, their passion was compelling. Also wanted to talk about graduation. I was impressed with the efficiency. We had definitely more graduates this year, I think, than last. And the fact that it was done within 2 hours, almost right at it, that was impressive. And I definitely liked the lineup afterwards when we applaud them as they're walking between everybody. It had better music last year for that, by the way, than they did this year. Maybe we get some kind of dance moves going as they go through there at some point. And I love the chains the welding graduates were wearing. That was very cool. It was well done though, and always enjoy being there.
I just wanted to say, welcome, Ryan. You have a lot of big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And we know that you'll do well. Thank you so much for being here with us. So,
Yeah.
and also for graduation. I thought we were doing a dance as we left the stage.
Oh, maybe it's just me then.
Good job, everybody. Thank you.
Yes, Ryan, thank you. I'm just welcome. You're going to be a good fit and you have jumped right in. You did 2 motions, I believe.
Well, it was quiet, so I was like, well, that means I should probably do it.
Yeah, we try to leave space for new people.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm really grateful to be here and get up to speed. And I feel like I've been with you and a lot of people in the community too. I was up till 2:30 a.m. 2 nights ago, finishing the previous budget committee meetings and the last board meeting so that I was up to speed on the conversations. So really grateful for the community input and the feedback and being a part of this board. I'm really looking forward to the work that we'll do together to support the mission of the college. So thank you.
Thank you. So if there is no further business, the Clackamas Community College Board of Education meeting is adjourned.